You may find yourself curious about the role of a sporting director, who fills this important position and what are their responsibilities. First of all, the title sporting director has often been used synonymously with technical director, director of football, and head of football operations, where all of them typically refer to the same role. In football, a sporting director is a professional manager who is responsible for the performance of multiple sporting departments, including the academy, medical and sports science departments, talent identification, analytical department, and recruitment. Here, recruitment is considered to be the most important duty of a sporting director, as it helps football clubs to be equipped with professionals in each department and lead them toward success both on the pitch and financially. Sporting directors are mainly judged by the media for their successes in recruiting players in and out of a football club. You are only as good as your last signing, people say. Very often it becomes the only criterion of how successful a person is as a sporting director. However, this isn't the way it should be. A sporting director is a person who defines goals and objectives that are in line with the club's philosophy and culture. They also ensure that the best practices are implemented and the most qualified personnel is hired to achieve the objectives. This is the main person who makes sure that the club functions in agreement with its vision and values. It may appear unusual for Southampton to sign a top football star when their philosophy is centered around nurturing young talents in the academy and selling them at bigger clubs afterward. At the same time, considering that Manchester City is a top football club with the most talented players and objective to win the Champions League, it would also be unexpected if they acquire an average player who didn't perform quite well at his previous club. A sporting director role is to make sure that there is a clear alignment between the club's vision and what a club actually does. While the head coach job is to win on Saturday, a sporting director is responsible for the overall healthy environment within the club and its long-term sustainability. On average, a head coach cannot be expected to be in a football club longer than 2 years. With that in mind, club owners prefer to hand key responsibilities regarding budget, recruitment, and overall strategy to sporting directors who stay considerably longer in a club than head coaches. When it comes to the hierarchy, sporting directors normally work below the board or the owner of the club, but above the head coach. Here, however, a sporting director has to support a head coach and not to dominate over him. His job is also to influence the board and their decisions by managing a football club both up and down. However, some experts argue that it is essential to include a sporting director as a mandatory member of the board of directors. In a football club, key decisions related to the strategy are decided in the boardroom. If you do not sit around the table with the CEO and director of finance, how can you ensure your strategy will be implemented and you got the support you need? Says a sporting director of a Premier League club. And does nowadays every football club have a sporting director position? Today, almost every professional club employs a sporting director in top European leagues, including Spain, Germany, and Italy. However, when it comes to England, it is not often the case. In Great Britain, a head coach or a manager was traditionally considered as a gaffer, or a person who exercises full control over all business and recruitment processes within a club. Nowadays, this situation is changing, with more and more owners employing a sporting director by recognizing its importance for the long-term sustainability of a club. Let's have a look at one concrete example. Marina Granovskaya was Chelsea's sporting director and the silent force behind their recent success in the European arena. On one side, she became one of the most successful negotiators in the world of football transfers. Her ability to drive a hard deal can be spotted in the amount of money Chelsea made when they sold Eden Hazard to Real Madrid for up to £130 million. You could trust her word, her professionalism, her approach to businesses and her representation of the club. That should be the model for many people within the industry, says Dick Law, a former Arsenal's transfer negotiator. At the same time, Granovskaya also played a key role in establishing a long-lasting partnership with the Dutch club Vitesse Arnhem, which nowadays serves as a development hub for Chelsea young players. Her contribution to the club is beyond what people on the outside know. Over 19 years, she worked so hard to build a world-class club and to keep the blue flag flying high in the world of football, says Didier Drogba. That's it, guys. Would you consider becoming a sporting director?